Hi, my name is Charisse Nixon, and the plan was for me to address you graduating seniors in person, but as you know, that's not going to happen. So what I thought we would do is I'd share a few thoughts with you before you leave Behrend and take your next steps. But first of all, I want to say congratulations. Congratulations to all of you. You will be remembered as a special class among all others. You are the class who persisted when it was easier to give up. You are the class who was asked to connect in a time of social isolation. You are the class who had to adapt during a very challenging time. You even had to learn a new way to learn your last semester. And that's really the very definition of the growth mindset. Now, I've spent the last few years studying resilience, and when people typically hear the word resilience, they think of bouncing back. Bouncing back after times of trouble or challenge. I've since learned there is no bouncing back. And in fact, we could never go back to the person we once were. We could only move forward. And you think about it, resilience by its very definition is adapting to stressors. By its very definition, resilience is growth. Now, there's no doubt that we've all been changed by the events of this semester. But what science tells us, it's very clear, we can choose to grow. We can choose to move forward, to adopt a strength perspective, to actually become stronger, to become more compassionate with others, to show more empathy. And that's no small feat when we've been living in isolation with our family members, or maybe you've been living alone. You have been challenged, but we could still choose to grow during this time. Now, when we're thinking about resilience and stress, we've also probably heard the term PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. How about PTG, or post-traumatic growth? Researchers describe post-traumatic growth as the process of not only surviving the challenging situation, but actually thriving during it. Similarly, most of us have probably read about the negative effects or heard about the negative effects of adverse childhood experience on physical health, on mental health, on emotional health. But probably not many of us have heard about the recent focus on positive childhood experiences. In fact, researchers at Johns Hopkins University are now looking at the power of positive childhood experiences on adults' physical, emotional, and psychological health. The point is, we get to choose where we focus. You spent the last few years equipping yourself with the skills needed to excel in your field. For some of you, those skills are going to lead to a job right now, and for others of you, those skills are going to lead you to graduate school. Regardless of your next step, you have worked tirelessly to develop your talents and your gifts, and now is your time to shine. Now is your time to unwrap those gifts and use them to make the world a better place. I've often been asked by others what your purpose is. And one of the best definitions I can think of that I've heard is purpose is the intersection between where your talents lie and your service to others resides. And you may think, what does your service to others have to do with anything? When you think about it, science tells us that our brains are actually hardwired to connect. We're wired for relationship, and we don't do well when we go it alone and keep our talents to ourselves. I've heard it once said that if you are dreaming dreams that only you can achieve by yourself, your dreams aren't big enough. It doesn't matter whether you're going into business or psychology or biology or humanities or education or nursing or a number of other fields. What matters is that you are all in a unique position right now to use your talents, what you've been trained in, to serve others and make the world a better place. As a dear friend reminds me, the miracle is not always in the change in our circumstance. Instead, more often than not, miracles are born out of changes in our response to our circumstance. Go make some miracles. We at Penn State Behrend could not be more proud of you. We cannot wait to see what you will do. Congratulations.